Hey there, fellers and fellettes. A guy's favorite YouTube channel was doing a giveaway. Ice Script Garage was giving away a day with Derek, where the host would come and do work on your vehicle and get it back running. So, the guy went on the interwebs and bleeped his information, sent it off, and hoped to win. I think it's about 6,000 other people did it, and well, the guy just didn't win. Dang it. Well, I reckon I could just go get a cold snack and cry in the mud, but instead I decided to do the right thing and revive the vehicle myself on 2 Labs Garage. I should do just as well as Derek. Nope. Alright, enough silliness. I'm going to quit stealing your lines now, Derek. I am, however, really going to revive this vehicle on 2 Labs Garage. I hope to do a good job, so stay tuned. We got a revival coming. Well, like I was saying the other day, this vehicle that we're reviving today was entered in the Day with Derek contest and didn't win, but that's alright. I needed to do the revival for my channel anyway, but heck, it would have been fun. But anyway, in a couple of the other videos, specifically the one where I was swapping out the Montego and the Tempest, I mentioned behind one of the doors at the storage unit I had a real special surprise for y'all. I've kind of hinted at this before in some of the other videos, but nonetheless, here we go. Here's the surprise I've been holding out on y'all. Ta-da! Here we are. We got a 1964 Ford Falcon Futura. It's a 2-door hardtop. It's not a Sprint model, so we got the bench seat. I'd say about a month ago, me and Ben went down to the storage unit and went and picked it up. Like I said, we went and picked it up last week, or last month I should say. Go ahead and show y'all around here a little bit. Now, what's the story on this car? Honestly, really, I don't know a whole lot. I got it 3 years ago, almost to the date. And from what I was told, at least from what I remember, from what I understood, that this vehicle, I think the original owner had passed away. You can see we got a nice interior in this thing. Really nice. And for many years after that, the heirs had a dispute on the ownership of it. And from what I could tell, like I said, I can't not substantiate any proof on this, but the last time this car was on the road and driven was 1975. See right there, we got Raleigh, North Carolina. City registration. I cannot find any evidence that it has been driven since that date. However, I have looked around at it, and it has been messed with since that date. And even when we brought it back to the house, I'd known the thing didn't have brakes. Ben pointed out to me that's a brand new master cylinder and it's not even hooked up. So that might be part of the reason I don't have brakes. If I get this thing running, I may try to put some stock juice in there and see if we can't get some brakes out of it. And it'd be really great to go take this for a drive, but I'm not getting my hopes up just yet. Because we don't know when the last time this thing was driven was. I do see that we have what appears to be a new coil on there. That distributor cap looks new. The plug wires look old, but you know, that's all right. The line from the fuel pump to the fuel line is bad. There's a fuel pump down there. I got a new one of them to put on, but I may be going into the Dodge truck over there and borrowing the tank with a clicky-clacky pump, see if we get anything out of it. But one of the big things is, I'd say about a year and a half ago, something along those lines, when I was working on my 64 Fairlane that y'all may have seen, its generator was bad. So I went to the storage unit to rob Peter to pay Paul. And I took the generator out of this, which turns out was also bad. And while I was down there, I went and did the thing where I spin the fan and the belts and try to see if the engine would spin. And the engine spun that particular date. But right now, I don't have a generator on there, so I can't get tension on the belt. So I'm going to have to do the thing where I put the wrench on the crank snout and see if we can turn it manually. So that'll be the first thing I do. I'm going to see if we can get this thing to go. See, also go look in the radiator. I can't see anything. I can't feel anything. It's damp and kind of cruddy, so anyway, right now I'll have a water pump because I have no belt. And that hose right there is not looking real good. All that's got to be replaced before I really drive it. Be a good thing for my Back to the Basics series. But I also want to look at a couple other things before we really get in here hard. The previous owner told me that he had sprayed some Jesus juice down the throat and it did bark off at him. I, however, have never heard it run. I have no reason to doubt him, but seeing is believing. So let's see what this oil looks like. With the breather cap in the front. Huh. Oh. Stars, what is that? I've never seen something that had two breather caps before. But I reckon there's a first for everything. Gas. A lot of gas. A lot of gas. This thing's either been severely flooded or we got bad rains. Perfect. Anyway, let me go see what I can find out about this. Let me see if I can find a wrench put on this crank snout. Alright, so I'm going to try to get on this crank snout here. And from my experience, a lot of times it's a 15/16. I can't see this thing, so I'm searching blindly. Yeah, 15/16. Let's see what we got down here. Aha! She's turning fairly easy. That's a good sign. Normally you should rotate on 360 degrees, and I acknowledge that would be a good thing to do. However, I'm just going to pretend like I did that. But as easy as that engine cranked, I don't think we're going to have an issue. Let me just see. Alright. It looks like all the linkages work. One thing I really want to check As easy as that engine turned, I think I got my answer. I'll make sure this thing's in neutral. Whenever you're working on a vehicle, most especially a standard shift, but especially some of these automatics have a neutral safety switch disconnected. It's a good idea to just double check, make sure you're in neutral or park. This one is in neutral. And one thing I've forgotten all this time I've had with it is the ignition switch has been disconnected. Sad. Anyway, it looks like I'm going to be getting my Lone Wolf 6000. I don't mean to take over people's terms. I really don't know what that tool's called besides a Lone Wolf 6000, so that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to get my Lone Wolf 6000 and I guess a piece of jumper wire of some nature and a battery, and we're going to see what this thing does. I'm really feeling pretty good about it. Let me go in here real quick though. I'm going to look and see what these points look like. I'm going to zoom in on that for y'all. Wow. Yeah, somebody's been in here, changed the points out and all. I actually have all the stuff to convert this to electronic ignition. Should I choose? But should I not choose, I think I'm going to be in alright shape. Yeah, I wouldn't mind putting, since they're open, putting something in there to sand those real quick. But I might just try it like we got it and just see what happens. Heck. Another thing I noticed just moving the cameras around to get over here to get ready to put the battery in it. Check this out. Okay, well that's no good. So I'm going to see if I got extra cable around here. If not, I'll do what I shouldn't do and wrap it in electrical tape. But we're going to see what we can get going here. So I took a few minutes, went around. I made me a little wire to run from the battery to the coil. And I got my Lone Wolf 6000 here. So what I was not successful in finding was a battery cable this size. So what I decided to do was tape it up, and if it doesn't work, then I'll just ride to the auto parts store and get a new one. I was able to find a short red one, but of course that appears to be in pretty good condition here, so don't need that. So anyway, gotta go ahead, hook the positive side up. Alright, no sparking yet. That's a good thing. Now, I don't see anything, I don't smell anything smoldering or getting hot. So, anyway, I need to see what side of this coil is the positive. See if I can't find me a light real quick. Alright, let's see what we got here. Well, where are the markings? Geez, I don't want to have to take this thing off to figure it out. Oh boy. I don't see a mark anywhere. Just by chance fit. Nope. Go ahead and tell you a little bit of a backstory about this as I'm working on it. Trying to figure out which one's positive and negative. It was back when I was a teenager, before I was old enough to drive. I'd say probably 15 years old. After I get out of school, my mom would take me around, look at cars that were for sale on the side of the road. And of course that was before internet classifieds, especially free classifieds. That's when you find an awful lot of stuff on the side of the road. One of the vehicles she took me by to see, guy actually had two for sale in his yard, and they were either 64 or 65 Falcons. I'm not quite positive, but as my memory goes, I'm pretty sure they are actually 65s. But nonetheless, I fell in love with that body style Falcon. However, both of these were project cars, and I myself love a project car. I didn't grow up with project cars, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's not for everybody. And when my parents didn't want a non-running vehicle sitting in the yard, you know, just wasn't their thing. I don't blame them for it. But I swore from that day, one day, I would have a 65 or 64 Falcon. Fast forward several years, I actually managed to get me a 65. And that 65, unfortunately, was actually a sedan. Just find the positive side, by the way. And I had it for about a year. That was definitely a project car. I don't know if I still got pictures of that car or not. I have to look. But that car, after about a year, I decided to sell it. I was going through a little bit of a personal rough time, and just went ahead and got rid of the car. And from that day on, I had all kinds of seller's remorse. Wish I'd never gotten rid of that car. And anybody that knew me and heard me talk about cars for any period of time knew about how much I hated selling that car. And actually, a lot of people think that a Falcon is my dream car. Close, but not exactly. So anyway, fast forward another few years, and I'm just lamenting the fact that I don't have a Falcon. And so I decided, all right, what's stopping me from getting a Falcon? And I had Cadillac in my car collection at the time. 73 Cadillac convertible. Sweet car. I kind of miss it, but at the same time I kind of don't. And that car, anyway, I decided was really what was keeping me from getting a Falcon. I liked it, but I darn sure didn't love it. And it was getting to the stage where it was going to be costing me a lot of money. So I decided to go ahead and sell the Cadillac. And while I had for sale, this particular car came available. Well, I had a buyer lined up for the Cadillac. They backed out. So I had to, unfortunately, tell the guy selling this that I wasn't going to be able to buy it. Because without selling the Cadillac, I didn't have the money. Well, as things go, it disappeared from the ads. It was the Falcon was shown no longer for sale. Actually, I think I saw the word sold by it. And a few months later, I finally got my Cadillac sold, and pretty much right at the exact same time, the ad reappeared, relisted for sale again for this Falcon. And turns out, if I remember the story right, the person that had agreed to buy it never came through with the money. So I ended up getting the car after all, and super happy about it. Me and my friend, we went down to North Carolina, we picked it up, Brought it back, and for 3 years, almost to the day, it sat in the storage unit. And today, I just took the lone wolf 6000 over here. I'm getting ready to dump some gas in the carb, and we're going to see if we can't get some fire out of it. Here I'm using 2-cycle gas. 50 to 1, it's got the oil mixed in. We don't know when the last time this thing was started was, so those rings are almost definitely dry. So giving this top end of the engine a little bit of lubrication with that 2-cycle oil is really going to be an asset to it. So anyway, I'm going to see what happens when I pull this trigger. Well, we definitely got turning. I don't know if we got fire or not. I got something hot somewhere because I could smell it. I have to keep my nose on that. Yeah, I definitely got something warm. Yeah, I really need to keep an eye on that cable because it's not happy. But I think I'm going to have to foul on those points a little bit. Alright, so we've got to look at a couple of things. She's acting like she's not firing. We've got to figure out why. The first thing, I'm going to come in here. Distributor. Let me go ahead and take this off because I just don't really feel like getting shocked right now. Probably wouldn't anyway, but I'd rather not leave that to chance. Come on. There you go. And since I'm kind of doing this way, let's put that back up. You go ahead and make sure that everything's... Ah! Scared the crap out of me, Nelly. Let's see. I'll go ahead and just see if I can't get some light on this. Alright, so Alright, so I'm getting fire there. Let's see what happens. Now that I've sanded those. Huh. Still nothing. Now let's see what happens. Not seeing any kind of spark there. See if I see anything between those points. Yep. Well, darn it. Let me go ahead and pull this back. See what we can figure out here. Alright, so I'm just trying to check all my connections here. Because for the life of me, I'm trying to understand why we're not getting sparks at the points. Cleaned them a couple times. Now I'm just cleaning the contacts actually up here on the coil. I did see one spark, so I know it's trying. I just don't know why it's not going. Like I said, I can convert this if I really want to. The issue is I don't really want to. I'd rather leave it points, but if it gets to aggravating me too much, electronic it is. Ooh, that really sparked that time. Yeah, that's a good sign. Let's hope so anyway. All right. I mean, this looks like a lightning storm down here now, so maybe that was my problem all along. That's a good sign. Also got this sensor thing down here, but not sure what that goes to. I'll figure it out in good time. Right now I'm not that worried about it. Now, moment of truth. We got spark at the points. We put gas in it. Distributor's back. Let's see what happens. That's not going to do anything. Let's see. We'll put a little more of this down there. Do that way where the butterflies open. Oh my stars. She started. We got us a runner. So I'm tickled because this is, like I said, it's not my dream car, it's not my number one, but it's close to it. And she's alive and running, and even though that was just a few seconds, I didn't hear any valve train noise. Let's see how you do getting bottle fed. We do have a little bit of noise, but wow. We got us a runner. Now, next question is, do we have a carburetor? So anyway, I've gone to the Dodge truck I've been reviving. At this point, still working on the transmission. But I figure for a little while I won't be needing that tank there, so I'll go ahead and borrow it for the Falcon. Now with this Falcon, I've been planning ahead and I actually have a brand new gas tank for it, brand new fuel pump. I got a couple spools of fuel line, so I don't plan on using this tank long term. But for now, just to see what we got. Go ahead and use my hammer. Try to loosen that thing up. Now, there's my mustard bottle. Well, I actually had a Holley 350 CFM carburetor I was planning on upgrading this to, but it'd be nice if I can just use motor graphics on it. Who knows? Well, I believe I flooded her. And I'm also getting this really sketchy cable way too hot. And also, so anyway, don't worry, that phone was already busted anyway. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call this a day. I'm very happy, but I got my Falcon running. Go ahead and turn the clicky clacky off. I'm going to call this a win. I'm going to come back and do a few things, get a belt on here so we got a water pump, make a more earnest effort to get it started and keep it running, and whatnot. Going to try to get y'all out for a drive. Hopefully I can get some brake pressure on this thing. Got oil change coming up, and who knows, I might use this as part of the back to the basics thing too. So anyway, I'm going to put stuff back in the garage. So as we saw the other day with my video, I did manage to get the old Falcon here running. Now it's time to get it driving. So since I got it, I bought a whole bunch of parts. As you can see here, we have a brand new gas tank still in the box. And over the course of 3 years, I bought several other parts for it. And I kept track of everything in that sell sheet. Well, in purging some unnecessary files, deleting them off the computer, I mistakenly deleted my Excel sheet. So I'm just right now, got my parts together, just gonna go through and kind of see what I got, see what I need. And here we got my brake calipers. What's this? Brake shoes, brake pads. By the way, I am doing a disc brake conversion on here. We got wheel cylinders. This wheel cylinder's not in the best shape. See, that's my master. Got plug wires, spark plugs. Here's the thing if I wanted to convert to electronic ignition. I got the cell conversion pack, which I'm not going to use on this, but I got it. This just arrived in a brown truck this morning, so that sketchy battery cable can come out. Got replacement hoses, different brands, but oh well. Brake hoses, got my brake rotors. Yeah, I lost the box to that one. I'm gonna have to wire wheel this one before it goes on. No big deal. Got a new fuel pump. And I got a belt, but that's a belt that I got for when I was gonna leave it generator. And I was actually initially, when I decided I was gonna convert to alternator, I was gonna use the Ford 1G system. Being on my Galaxy, I just replaced the alternator. And I replaced that one because I felt like I needed an upgrade, not because the alternator was bad. I actually got an amp in the trunk of that. So I went with a bigger alternator on it. I actually considered using it in the Falcon, but when I did my Fairlane back here, I did the conversion to a GM one-wire alternator. And that's so easy. And those alternators are so cheap, I'm just going to put the GM single-wire conversion on here. So anyway, looks like I need to get the backing plates from Scarebird to do my disc conversion. I don't see any wheel bearings or wheel seals from the front, so I need to get them. Also didn't see any hardware for the rear drums. I see somebody's messing with brakes on this, and I could take it apart and see if somebody put new hardware, did the stuff in the back, but being as I got everything else, those springs are so cheap, I think I'll just order them. In addition to that, let's see. Yeah, I need to get built for the alternator. In the past, when I did the Fairlane, I tried to use what the factory called for an alternator for a 65 Mustang with alternator. And I found out that belt, I don't know if it's just a GM alternator or the way that it comes, but it's just a hair too long. It's specified a Gates 7405. And anyway, I found out that a 7400 works a whole lot better. I just could not get enough tension out of the 7405, so I'm going to need a Gates 7400 belt. I have nothing against using Continental or Dayco or one of the other brands, but I don't know exactly what part number to look for, but I do know in Gates, so that's what I can see for right now. Hopefully that covers everything. I'd like to know if those headlight bulbs are any good. I might connect the battery, find out. Alright, so I'm back to work on the Falcon today, and with a little luck, I'd like to be able to try to move this thing under its own power for the first time and God knows how long. Anyway, what we need to do to make that happen is I have to be able to get it running and keep it running. I've got to have a cooling system of some nature. Right now, there is no fan belt on it because there's no generator. So I either need to just stick the old generator on there and use that for an idler pulley, or change the bracketry over to an alternator one and see if I don't have an old alternator right here I can just stick on here again as the idler pulley. I've got a new alternator ordered, and FedEx says it's supposed to be delivered today, but I looked at where the tracking is on it. I don't see it happening. So I may have to just stick something on there temporarily. Also, I gotta get some brake pressure in this thing. The master cylinder is not even hooked up. Now, I plan on changing this thing over to disc brakes pretty soon, but just to scoot it around the road, I'd like to use it. It's got a def can on there right now. I hate those things with a passion. That's also known as a single reservoir master cylinder. Some people call them suicide cylinders. I call them def cans. That thing's gotta go, but just to get it running, I may see if I can't build pressure with just that. Alright, so just a little more information. I've looked around, and when I took this generator off, I took the bottom adjusting bracket. And I still haven't been able to put my hands on where that is now. Either that one or the one I took off of Fairlane. So If I really put some time and effort into looking for it, I'm sure I could find it. However, just to put it on to take it right back off, I'm not sure that's the best idea. I might roll the dice on this alternator actually getting in today. The diff can right here, however, is another story. They did not make them easy to get to on this particular vehicle, which is why it's so hard to put power brakes on these things, because there's just no room for a booster and a reservoir. There's one fellow that shows up to a cruising a lot that's got one of these cars, and he's got the booster on it. And I wish I had a picture of it. But way up under here, like past where my fingers are peeking out, up under this bracket is where the reservoir is for his master cylinder. And I asked him about filling that thing, and he said it's a contraption of hoses and all kind of stuff. So I decided I'm just going to leave manual brakes on this car. I am going to switch to a dual master cylinder that's made for disc. But for now, if I'm going to get this thing going, I don't mind trying to bleed the def can just for test purposes. Alright, so I'm going to try and get y'all in here as best I can, but just the way this car is laid out, there really is hardly a good angle. I can't even get one myself to see working on it. So I know this isn't a very good angle, but I'm going to do my best. If I get this plastic plug out here with a croissant wrench, sounds like my breakfast. Crap. Twister, this is plug on it. Or is that a barb fitting? It is a barb fitting. Well, what do you do? Well, since it's a barb fitting on there, get my hose out. They may have already bled this thing, and if that's the case, and I'm not getting pressure, that tells me a lot right there. Next, I'm going to get me a big old pair of channel locks here. See if I can't get this lid off the master cylinder. The design of these master cylinders, I think that was probably Ford's best idea since the Edsel. Good God. Can't imagine being on the side of the road having to put fluid in this thing. There we go. This thing is not long for this world. She bone dry. I may have another def can cap. I took off another one because I hate these master cylinders, and if I get them, they're not long for this world. Put the hose on it. And place that in the def can itself. Now, whenever you're doing work on brakes and you're bleeding brakes and you're putting fluid in your brake face, you always come out of a new sealed container. So I'm going to do the right thing and use this container that's been open for about 2 years to bleed out the master. Now, before y'all have a litter of kittens about me using that old brake fluid, keep in mind I'm just doing this temporary to try to see if I can't scoot it around. I've made an order from the Stone Auto Parts online auto parts store, and they're supposed to be sending me a brand new container when they send me the rest of my brake parts and my alternator, and also I am, when I actually put this on the road, go use fresh fluid. So anyway, I've gone inside and I've pumped and I've pumped and I've pumped on the brake pedal. And I'm afraid I don't have good news. Well, I can see that the level's gone down and I've obviously blown some air out of it. At no point did the brake pedal ever rebound. It never came back up. So I am concerned, and pardon that noise, there are people out there that have some pretty nice rides, and for whatever reason, when they drive by someone's house that they know that a car person lives there, they just feel the need to feed it all the onions when they go by. I'm concerned that there's just no way that I'm going to be able to get that master cylinder to work. And being that I'm going to convert it and just go throw this one away, I'm not going to keep the same brake system, there's no point in me just right out to the parts store and getting a new master cylinder. Well folks, I hate to disappoint y'all, but I think right now I'm going to call this the Falcon Revival video. We were able to get it started and running and stay running for a little while and bring this car back from the dead. This car is definitely going to get on the road. We're definitely going to drive it. However, with the stuff that this car needs to really get on the road, and the fact that it's at home at my personal garage and I'm not trying to be anywhere with it, I think the best course of action is just to do the work once. To go ahead when my alternator comes in, do the one-wire conversion, get that straight, get the brakes straight, and do them right the first time. So I'm going to go ahead and do the disc brake conversion, and we're going to get this car on the road, and this is going to be a car we're going to have fun with. It's a great project, and I really think it's too bad that it wasn't on the day with Derek, but hey, I know 6,000 other people entered. Bound to have been some other great candidates in there. I can't wait to see what the person who won has that he's going to be working on. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm anxious to see that episode. So anyway, this is going to be a multi-part series, getting this Falcon back on the road and driving it around. But if you hadn't already, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button. Like I said, I got more to do on this revival. I got another one that belongs to a friend I'm going to revive. And then I got something a little off the wall I'm going to try and revive. So anyway, I thank y'all for tuning into my channel. I hope you stick around. And I hope y'all have a great day and keep those projects going well. Whew. Glad I got that car running. I always wanted that thing. Wonder what Derek Bieri's doing right now. No telling.